Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mark and Mike's Rock Battle. We are
Woo-hoo.
brothers. Ooh, yeah, baby. Yeah, we're brothers. Um, this is our, I don't even know, fifth episode.
Yes.
Okay, fifth episode of the Mark and Mike Rock Battle, where we take an album from each, from whatever category we chose, and we chose this week. Mike chose, he chose arena rock. And Mike, why don't you explain what arena rock is to our
So
lovely audience?
arena rock is a really bombastic melodic form of rock and roll that is really designed to play to large arenas. It's also sometimes called corporate rock. It's hard rock, but it's pop oriented to appeal to mass audiences and fill up stadiums and arenas. Hence, arena rock.
Okay, awesome. So what we picked is, and if you've been following us, the first four episodes, we pick an album. And this week, as you can see in the background, I picked Styx. Doesn't say so you can't see Styx anywhere around there, but Paradise Theater, who's arena rock, and then Michael chose.
Journey Escape, also arena rock. And
Okay,
so,
so go ahead.
Mark, this is this is our fifth episode. This is the first time. And what we do is we pick the category, we pick the band, then we go off, we find the album that we want to represent. And this is the first time we chose an album from the same year, released months apart. And so, out of all of our episodes, this is the most comparable.
It
Both
is.
albums were released in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
This was the seventh album by Journey and the ninth album by Styx. And so, Mark, why don't you just tell us a little bit about the album?
All right, so actually I believe it was the 10th. Maybe you were right, ninth. But so basically what it is, it's called Paradise Theater. And basically what it is, it's actually an album that it's a concept album, and it is actually from our hometown. Michael, you probably don't know that, Chicago, on the west side of Chicago. It was a theater that was built in 1928 and actually was demolished in 1956. This album actually reached number one for 3 weeks between April and May, so was triple platinum in that year. So it was. I just, I actually forgot about this album, and it actually rocks. It rocks from their ballad here and there, but I just thoroughly enjoy this album. Listen, and that's what happened. I I listened to all these songs and even your songs from Journey, and I don't remember the album until I re-listened to it, and that it brings us back, to our childhood and everything. So that's Paradise Theater. How about you?
So, Journey Escape. This has an absolute anthem on it that "Don't Stop Believing." That we call your album cute. You said it went triple platinum. That's cute. Ours went diamond, baby. We went diamond.
Yeah,
That
but it took to 2022 to do it, but
it's
it
still
it, it went there.
it's diamond, baby.
Yeah.
Um, and mine is a mix of hard rock and ballads. What's interesting on mine is it features four top 20 songs. There's another one that gets a lot of radio play. The ballads were really the big hits on this album. I do like the hard rock, but because the ballads made all the radio play, this is a little bit softer than Paradise Theater. And I agree with you. 1981, I'm 17, you're 1920. Back then, no internet. And so, and a lot of times the albums didn't contain the lyrics. And so you'd listen to it, but you're 17, you're listening more to the beat, you're not digesting the meaning. And so here we are now in our late 50s, early 60s, going back to when we were in our teens. With the internet, you're able to research the songs, and you're like, holy cow, a lot of deep meaning. I love that yours is a concept album. Yours also has, I think, the three top 20 songs that we're going to go through. And I never knew, and they all got radio play, and everyone's going to recognize these songs. I never knew until you gave me this assignment that those songs are connected. your top 20, because it's a concept album, it's parts of the same story, and I never knew that
Yeah,
back
you
in
know,
1981.
exactly. I never knew that too until basically I researched it, and um, it's a concept album that actually ties in basically all the things, you know, and it is about the theater that was built in 1928, but it's really a metaphor for the changing times between the late 1970s and going into the 80s. So that's what this concept album is about.
And it was inspired by the Paradise Theater because in 28, this theater was sort of built like the Titanic, the world's best. It was a palace, 3,500 people. This theater sat, big dome. It was built for silent movies, and it couldn't make the transition to sound movies. The acoustics were terrible. The competition built theaters around it. In 56, they had to demolish it. And what was supposed to be a 6-month demolition was 2 years. So this is a metaphor about trying to keep up with the changing times. Yours is also kind of a fictional story of some of the plays and some of the movies that happen inside that theater. And mine tends to be more pop oriented, not a concept album. There are a number of mine that tell stories, but mine are more about romance and ballads.
Right. And you got to remember, so what's our title called? Mark and Mike Rock Battle, not Ballad Battle.
Yeah,
Rock.
that didn't stop me from presenting folk rock, okay?
Okay, you're right. Well, I lost that one anyway, so there you go.
And that's an archaic reference that no one will get. Go back to episode 3 with Hart,
Yes.
where Mark introduces folk rock into our channel, and it created us. We were peaking at about 30 subscribers. He brings out a folk rock album, and we went back to like 15 subscribers.
All right, are we ready to get into it?
We are ready to do it.
Okay, so there are 10 songs, correct?
There are 9. You have 11 songs,
And you
and
have what?
we agreed that we had to map your first and last songs. We had to combine those, so it's 9 on 9.
Right, okay.
And so song 1 for me is "Don't Stop Believing," and
And
that goes up against a combined
AD 1928 and Rockin' in Paradise. Now, AD 1928, as I discussed, that's when the Paradise Theater was built. So that's what that's about. And it's got the melody of the Best of Times. And then it's kind of a ballad type thing. And then it goes into Rockin' Paradise, which is a really rocking song. It's about America's get back to the honest work that we do in this country. Um, uh, DeYoung, the singer in the group, he said that what is needed in order to turn things around is America is human decency. So that basically what the song is. It went number 8 on the billboards. It was a great song. I every time I listen to it, I just, it's one of these workout songs that you can work out to. So go ahead.
And what I love about this song and the whole album is, and what I love about Styx, it's kind of theater. It's almost like a Broadway play. It's bombastic, and a lot of people knock Styx for synthesizers, that it's kind of more machine than instruments. You and I are like-minded. If it sounds good, it's good.
Yep.
We don't care about the instruments, but this album, because it's about a theater, it's kind of like Broadway in its presentation. And with Best of Times and Paradise, Rockin' in Paradise. So I agree with you, outstanding. It is up against Don't Stop Believing, which is a song about optimism in the face of uncertainty and perseverance and holding on to hope, and tells the story of a young man and young woman kind of coming together and creating that hope together. And everyone knows the intro to Don't Stop Believing, the piano intro. And what's interesting here is you don't even get to the chorus till about 2/3, 3/4 of the song. You don't get to Don't Stop Believing. It's about 4 minutes into the song. Amazing ensemble. It was co-written between lead singer Steve Perry and Kane, who is their pianist. He actually brought the tune over, the melody over, when he was with the Babies. John Waite, the lead singer of the Babies, didn't like it, and Perry loved it. So this only went number 9. Yours went number 8. But here's what I'm going to argue: "Don't Stop Believing" has really stood the test of time. It is an anthem. In my mind, you have to go to something like Stairway to Heaven or Bohemian Rhapsody to try to rise to the level of this song. It is played in sports venues and parades and commercials and been in a ton of movie soundtracks. It has to be played thousands of times every day. This is ingrained into our pop culture. And so I'm going to argue, even though these are two great songs, a great matchup, that it's Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you. You know, I kind of mentioned, it reached 10 million copies in 2022. Well, I believe a lot of that had to do with this song. It's just, played all the time in anthems and, in stadiums, commercials, like you said, just everywhere. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give it to you. They're both great songs. Unfortunately, Rockin' with Paradise actually came up against that one, so I'm gonna have to give it to you.
All right, it's 1-0. We have another top 10 or top 15 matchup. My song number 2 is Stone in Love, went number 14, romance love song, talking about just being immensely and intensely in love, stoned in love. It's a love song, good, a little faster than a ballad, but probably considered a ballad because of the lyrics, and it went number 14. And I think this is a song everyone knows, Stoned in
Oh yeah.
Love.
Mm-hmm. So the number 3 track would be for, no, it's number 2, I'm sorry, because we combined the other two, was Too
Yep.
Much Time on Your Hands, went number 9 on the chart, and it's about Tommy Shaw, who wrote this song. Basically, he wrote it. It was actually in a bar in Michigan that he wrote it, and it's about this guy just, he's unemployed, talking about soaps, this afternoon soaps, and drinking his beer. Just, he has too much time on his hands. He doesn't, he's unemployed. Just goes to the bar, drinks, and talks about soap. So, another toughie. I just think, yeah, there was one album, I wasn't Stone in Love just a radio play? What didn't actually chart? Did it actually
No,
chart?
it charted.
Did it? Okay.
You are thinking of another song that when we get to it, I'll talk about that.
Okay, gotcha. So this is tough. If we're doing rock, I would have to say Too Much Time on My Hands.
I'm going to agree with you. And what I love is the percussion here. Too Much Time on My Hands. Isn't there sort of a hand beat in there?
Yep.
And so really well put together song. And again, what's amazing is Rockin' Paradise and Too Much Time in Your Hands are part of the same story. It's just amazing that two different songs that we both loved in 81, we had no idea they were connected, that it's a continuation of the same story. So I'm going to give that to you. It's 1-1. And so that moves us to song 3, and which is for you?
Never, was it? Nothing ever goes as planned. Which reached number 54, 33 in Canada. And it's about basically failure. Everything that, it's Murphy's Law of everything. You do something and then it just really doesn't go as planned. There's 3 characters who plan out things and something happens to them. There's 3 characters in the song. So that's what that song about. It really kind of stays with the concept of the album. So,
And that goes up against Who's Crying Now? And it is a breakup song where the girl breaks up with the guy in the song. but she is the one that has the regrets, even though she broke up, hence Who's Crying Now. It is a ballad. And we'll tell you, when you look at best rock and roll voices and who makes the list, Steve Perry always makes the top 10, 15 in terms of just song ability. And he can really croon, and he really croons in this song, Who's Crying Now. To me, one of the best voices in rock and roll. You obviously got to put him behind Freddie Mercury and a few others, but I think he's on the short list of singing ability. The song went number 4, and I know this is rock and roll battle, but it is hard to argue when a song goes top 5. It's the
Exactly.
same year. It's 4 versus 54. I think the masses spoke on this.
Right. I agree with you. Um, we'll give it to you. So what are we, 2-1? Something like that?
2-1. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is from Styx, is The Best of Times. It actually reached number 3 in the US, number 1 in Canada. And actually, in this song, it says these are the worst of times back in the 1980s. But it's the best of times when he's with his, I guess, Dennis DeYoung, he's with his girl, and it's just the best of times when him and her are alone. This actually was a presidential theme in between Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan. Do you remember that? I think I vaguely remember that.
So who co-opted the song? Was it Reagan or Carter?
I think it was just a theme of I think it was Reagan actually. So look it up, but it was a theme
Interesting.
back in the when they were going into the 1980s and stuff like that. So what's your song?
Still They Ride. It's another love song. Journey has a lot of love songs. It's a breakup song. Um, Again, very melodic, in the same vein as Who's Crying Now. This song went number 19. So what's great about these albums is they're just studded with great songs. And this is actually the fourth song where you and I have songs that competed in the charts.
Right.
Yours did chart higher. What I love about The Best of Times, and what I absolutely love about Paradise Theater, it starts with the theme of this song. We get into the middle of the album. It's the full-blown Best of Times. And then it ends with the melody of Best of Times in 1958. And so this is a song that's woven through the album. And this one's very tough to argue. I have to give it to you. It's just an outstanding song.
Mm-hmm. It's an excellent song. So we're 2-2, right?
2-2.
Okay. So okay. So go ahead, you can start on this one.
My number 5 is Escape. It is the song of the album title, Escape.
Okay. And what is that about?
It's a song about hard times and navigating through hard times, kind of the theme of Paradise City,
Right.
and escaping from it all. And there are 2 or 3 very hard rock songs, and this is one of the most hard rock songs on the album.
Yeah. And it's
And with all arena rock,
I'm sorry.
we both chose arena rock, and on all of these, both albums, there isn't a bad song. You and I have talked about other albums where, you know, we're trying to defend a bad song just to score the point, but everything on my album is melodic. Everything on yours is grand. And so I don't think there's a bad song. I think Escape, while it wasn't released as a single, is a really good hard rock song.
It is. And what we're going against up is Lonely People. It's about just people being lonely. And it's a really nice song, but it's hard to go against up Escape. It's the name of the album, and it's a lot harder than Lonely People. So I will give it to you.
I agree. Thanks. 3-2. That brings us to song 6. And what do you have?
She Cares. Didn't chart, but it's about trying, no matter what you do, and how bad you do things or how great you do things, she still cares about you. And Dennis DeLong wrote this song, um, and it's a good song, like you said. All these songs are great. Um, didn't chart, but it's an awesome song. How about you?
So this is Lay It Down. And I don't know if you remember when you listened to the song to prep for this week. It starts in the midnight hour. And this
Hmm.
is a song you're like, holy cow. I think I've heard it on the radio.
Hmm.
I'm not sure it was released, but you listen to the song and you could swear it was a hit.
I
It's
thought it
another
was a hit.
heartbreaking
Yeah,
song.
I did thought it was. I said, I think I've heard this song.
And it's
Yeah.
really catchy in the midnight hour, and it's about giving it your all. It's kind of a party song, but it's all about energy and effort and what happens in the wee hours of the night. And I like She Cares. More of a ballad. Mine's more of a hard rock, but I just love the intro of Lay It Down in the midnight hour.
Yep,
It
I
just
agree.
really gets you grooving. And
I
so
get, I
I'm going
agree.
to champion this song.
All right, yeah, you're absolutely right on that one. So let's go to the next one. On Styx is Snowblind. It actually reached number 22 on the charts. It's about cocaine addiction, and I did not know that when but when I did research, I said, okay, it's about cocaine addiction. And
Still blind's a term about cocaine blindness,
yep.
and um, Ace Frehley, one of the rockers that you and I love, he has a song by almost the same name that was released 3 years earlier. So when I came across Snowblind, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah. And then so it's interesting in this song. Basically, there was this Christian group or something that evidently played it backwards and had some satanic message supposedly in it. So, so what they did in the next album, Kira was here with Mr. Roboto. What they did, and I think it was called Heavy Metal Poisoning, they actually put in a satanic, not a satanic, a message to them about basically how ridiculous they are. So
It goes up against Dead or Alive. It's a hard rock song. This is a song about paid assassins, and the song is about how the paid assassin goes to different cities and takes out his target. Hard rocking song. Um, it didn't chart. And again, to me, one of the consideration points: what was the popularity of the song? What was the impact on pop culture? Yours had a far better impact. Mine's more of a rocking song, but you can't argue with a song that goes number 22, and so I have to give it to you. And it is 4-3, still me hanging out.
all
And
right,
that
so
brings us to song 8.
all right, so the next one is Halfpenny Two Pennies, and it's about just somebody winning money, lose or just having money and then losing it. That's I had to kind of ask around what does this set mean? And that's halfpenny, two penny. That's basically what it means. You get some money and you lose some money. So it's
And
right. What does it mean to you?
so got a similar meaning. It kind of came across to me as kind of an anti-capitalist capitalism,
Hmm.
about the evils of money. And I think there's one of the verses that talks about divorce, and the divorce became about money. And I think the song kind of rails around the evil necessity of money. And knowing that Paradise Theater opened in 28, and what happened in 1929
Oh, the
in our
depression. The
the stock
depression.
market crash that led to the
Yeah.
depression.
Right.
And so when I listen to this song, Halfpenny Two Penny, I think it's an anti-money song about all the corporate greed that caused the
Mm,
stock market crash, etc. That's what I got out of it. Kind of
mm.
an anti-capital, anti-money
All right.
song, and it goes up against Mother Father. And this is a hard rocking song, and it's a song about um, when you leave the nest, you leave your family and you strike out on your own. You still carry the lessons and the values of your family with you, and it's a song where you carry the essence of your mom and father with you and everything that they taught you, and you carry them through your life. And so it's a really good song, and the chorus, mother, father, it just kind of reaches out and grabs you. And it's a hard rock song. And we'll tell you, I had a hard time deciding. There were two songs I was willing to, hey, call it a tie. I convinced you on Lay It Down versus She Cares. I was ready to call that a tie, but you conceded. On this one, I had a tough time choosing, and in my notes, I have a tie question.
Sounds good to me. So, so your next one though is Open Arms, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so, the
And it goes against?
it goes against Slate Street Sudue. I don't know what that means, but
say that again. Say that for our audience. No.
how are you gonna do it? What is it? What is it?
Remember, we're combining. It's AD 1958.
No, actually, so half penny, two pennies went into AD.
Okay.
AD.
All right. So if this is a
1958.
standalone song, it is State Street Sadie. Say it with
that's
me.
it.
State Street Sadie.
Sadie. Right. And it's an instrumental. So
you can't even champion the song if you can't say it. Say
you got that right. Well, it's against Open Arms. Instrumental against Open Arms.
Which went number 2, and I know it's a ballad. It's beautiful. It's a song about rekindling romance. The couple broke up early on. They both had regrets. They came back together, and their love is even stronger. And he welcomes her back with open arms. And it's a song. I sort of misspoke. This was the melody that Kane, the organ player, brought from the Babies. Not he did create the piano and Don't Start Believin', but he brought this melody from his previous band, and Neil Schon hated it. He did not want Journey to be a band about ballads, and he protested the song. Steve Perry won the argument, but sort of the concession was, even though this song went number 2 and it's huge and it's a huge ballad, it really spotlights Steve Perry's vocal cords. Just he sings so great. It's the last song because Neil Schon didn't want it on the album, and we'd have to look up how many times has the last song on an album actually reached number 1 or number 2.
Yeah,
and this song did.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
It's similar to Beth. Kiss did not want Beth on their song on Destroyer, and it was the last song. And you and I talked in the last episode that Beth was released as a B-side to Detroit Rock City and overtook that song. And so a lot of rockers like the ballads. They like Beth and they like Open Arms. And this is a very tough song to beat.
Yeah, so there's another group out there that you said Tommy Shaw was more of the rocker, Steve Pryor was more the ballad guy. There's another group out there that's kind of like that. I remember, and I haven't looked it up, but I remember this back then, REO Speedwagon. What's his name? The lead singer. He was, and the guitarist, I don't even remember their names now, but it kind of was the same thing. The guitarist was the hard rocker, and the singer was more toward the ballad. So that it kind of reminded me of that.
And it's funny you mention REO Speedwagon, because it's another band that shows up under Arena Rock. They released, I forget the name of the album. It was a killer album in 1981. Billy Squier, Don't Say No, had 4 top 20s on it. 1981, Pat Benatar's follow-up, Two Crimes of Passion, also a top 10, 1981. 81 was a killer year in rock and roll, and it had these 2 albums plus all the others that I mentioned. 404, Jukebox Hero, competed against these 2 albums. Urgent competed against these 2 albums. 81 was just an amazing year in rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like you won this one, right?
Looks like I won. Woohoo!
Right,
and what do you have to say to me, dear brother?
I have to say to you, Michael, you're the king of rock and roll. So.
And so 2 announcements. I have an announcement, and you're going to announce next week's challenge. You can never tell who makes it to the end of the episode. We look, we're getting 30, 40 views. We're doing this just for brotherly love. We have a lot of fun. We have no illusions that we're going to draw thousands of people, but I have no idea if anyone has ever reached the end of an episode like this. And so if you're listening to me now, and don't tell anyone, Mark, if
Okay.
you're listening to me now, in the comments, say claim my prize, and I'm going to give you $100 for making it this far into the video. I
Holy,
don't think
you
I
kidding
don't think
me?
anyone's ever made it, so I don't think I'm gonna have to pay up. Do not tell anybody.
I won't tell
But if
anybody.
you're listening now, in the comments, claim my prize. I will private message you, and I will PayPal or figure out a way to get you
How about
$100.
that?
If
That's
you made it
awesome.
to the end of this video, congratulations. You're probably the first one.
I know I looked at the statistics. I think the average is not even a minute that people look at it. But like you said, we have fun doing it, and we're in different states. This is makes us closer. We talk about once a week, and even in between, even between, we talk about the albums and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
the prep sessions, and we trade stories about where were we in our childhood when these albums came out, and did I sort of steal it from your collection when you're playing with your friends, or you and I were together, or we both remember hearing on the radio, and so this takes us back through our teens.
right, and you got to admit that these episodes are raw. We have no fancy stuff except for what I figured out back there in the covers, but that's about it. It's just us talking, us, just basically saying what we have to say on the
From the
albums.
heart, brother. This is all from the heart.
There you
But
go. There
we
you
pride
go.
ourselves on content over sizzle. But
There you go.
we don't know the graphics, but we're actually devoting a lot of time to research and understanding the songs, and the compare and the contrast in the albums, and um, we have no illusions that we're getting more
Exactly.
value out of the listeners. But we love doing this.
Yeah, we do.
Hey,
So,
so tell us about next week.
all
What's up
right.
for
So
next week?
next week you're gonna have to tune in. So my favorite band is AC/DC, and Michael's is Aerosmith. So I said, well, why don't we do their debut albums? And AC/DC debut album is High Voltage. So I'm gonna review that and put it up against. Go ahead, Aerosmith's.
Aerosmith self-titled. It's Aerosmith.
So
It's their self-titled debut album.
all right, so we're looking forward to that. I can't wait, and may the better brother win next week.
That's right. And if you're still listening out there, claim your prize.
There you go. All right, take care, Mike.
Bye.
All right, bye.